Welcome to the Southeastern Bow Hunter Podcast. This is the Southeastern Bow Hunter Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of Southeastern Bow Hunter Podcast. In this episode, we're going to have my buddy James Holm from the Scrape Doctor on. And normally, I'll be honest, normally we talk about scrapes, right? He's a scrape doctor. But I think this episode was a little different. We cover some scrape stuff, but then we also mostly cover the stuff that's been going on in Michigan. And for those of you who don't know, there's been a lot of regulation changes over there. So I figured it's current, it's important because we might start seeing this down by us in Georgia and the surrounding states and stuff. There's always talk every single year about changing regulations and tag limits and all that other stuff. So it's a very interesting episode. Also, before I start with the partners like we usually do, I have to give a shout out to the guy that came up. I was in Madison on a date with Jess last Saturday. And oh no, I'm sorry, last Friday. And long story short, we were at this restaurant. I think it was called oh my Lord. Something it had a deer on it. And I know I'm not gonna remember this place at all. You know what? I'm actually just gonna look it up real quick because I really want to make sure that I say the right place. It was like a British, not British. I don't even know, dude. It was like kind of a British style place. I mean, they had like fish and chips and stuff. It was pretty cool. It was really good actually, but let me see. I need to be able to find it. It was like an ale house, but it wasn't an ale house. I don't necessarily. Oh, okay, here we go. Heart and Crown Tavern. So it was really, really good. And we were hanging out. Just eating our food and waiting and all that stuff. And this dude walks up and he goes, "Hey," he was asking about my deer season. And, I thought just because I was wearing some deer hunting stuff, Jessica was wearing the podcast shirt. I thought he was just realized like, hey, this dude's probably a hunter. I'm gonna ask him. Turns out he listens to this podcast. And unfortunately, I didn't get your name. So if you're listening, dude, you made my day. That's the first time anyone's ever done that where I'm just out and about and someone says, "Hey, I like your show. I listen," all that stuff. It was really cool, man. It definitely was a highlight of the day. And man, it's awesome. I just love it. So thank you for that. Thank you to everybody else that listens. I had to give you a shout out. Um, I appreciate it. I really do. So, all right, let's get started with the partners. I'm going to try to run through these kind of quick. The podcast is brought to you by Sportsmen's Empire, which is the network that we've been under for 3, 4 months now. It's a home for a lot of podcasts, including the Nine Finger Chronicles podcast, which is Dan's. That's what helped him start the Sportsman's Empire. Tons of great shows. So if you guys want any good content, head over to Sportsman's Empire and check it all out. Next up, Lone Wolf Custom Gear. Dude, love my stuff. I'm running the V2 doubles and the DeQuisto Series .75. The quality is fantastic. However, if you guys don't want to spend the money on the DeQuisto series stuff, maybe you're not able to, right? They also sell the Patriot series, which is more of the budget friendly. It is cast aluminum. It's just the same build, like the same people that made the DeQuisto series that are still making that stuff like in-house. They are making those Patriot series stands as well. So the quality is still unmatched. You just don't get the same amount of features as you would with the DeQuisto series. They also sell sticks for that. They've got a bunch of different types of sticks. Lone Wolf Custom Gear really covers it when it comes down to, I guess, innovation in the tree stand world. So if you're looking for new tree stands, head over to Lone Wolf Custom Gear and see what they got for you. Next up, Osseo Gear. Running the Leafy Jacket this coming early season and probably into the pre-rut. I absolutely love it. I'm going to be completely concealed. I cannot wait to hunt with that thing. I'll probably start shooting with it just to, test it out, make sure nothing's getting in the way or anything like that. I doubt it will, knowing how good Osseo is made. But yeah, Osseo is the camo brand we've been working with for years, and I trust them. I think you guys should too. Next up, Boutique. Best arrow wraps in the game. Don't really need to say much about that. Mike does a phenomenal job with all of his designs. He's got some new shirts out, so head over to the boutique and check out, all the wraps that he's got for you. I promise you there's something there for everybody. Let's see. What do we got next? We got G5 Outdoors. So I am going to be running the Mega Meets again this coming year. Maybe the T2s. I was planning on it last year. I didn't get around to it. Honestly, the Mega Meats are just so good. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know? But if you guys don't want any mechanicals for you fixed blade shooters, they also have you covered with the Montec M3, the Striker V2, and the Striker X. So they cover all the bases there, and I trust G5 with all of my setups. Speaking of setups, we got Prime Archery. So I'm shooting the Prime Divide 31. Absolutely love that bow. It performed flawlessly at TAC. Um, dude, they Prime literally has like I think it's 8 different models ranging from 31 to 37 ATA. All of them come in either 6-inch or 7-inch brace height. I went with the 7-inch just because I like stuff that's kind of more forgiving, more comfortable to draw back. Not something I'm gonna have to fight when it's like super cold out. So yeah, if you guys are looking for a new bow, head over to Prime Archery, go to your local bow shop, and go shoot one. You will not be disappointed. And remember, nothing aims like a prime. Let's see. Next up, dialed archery. So my dialed proof, best site, best site in the game. They got a bunch of small batches right now. I know Lone Wolf Custom Gear is one of them. I think the Masters or something like that is also one. I think there's like 4 different small batches that are out right now, maybe more. But look, Dialed has you covered. All right. And if you don't like a mover sight, you can always go with the Strike. It's a fixed pin sight. It looks exactly like the Proof. It just doesn't move, and you can get all the different mag options with that. I personally prefer the Mag 3VA, which is their adjustable vertical pin. It's a 3-pin. I love it. It's fantastic. Dialed's quality is unmatched, and so look, go try one. All right, go to the website, go play with the stuff. It's awesome. Next up, Moultrie. Going to be doing an episode with Mark. A month or two from now. Going to be talking about all the new stuff that Moultrie's got coming this summer. My cameras are working great. So if you guys are looking to get some new cameras, head over to Moultrie.com. Check out what they have. I'm sure they're running some type of deal. They always are. And dude, their stuff, I absolutely love their stuff. Next up, Bow Hunting League. Me and Ben were talking the other day. There's some stuff behind the scenes I can't talk about yet, but it's going to be extremely, extremely exciting once it does drop and it all starts happening. So if you guys want to be a state sponsor with the league, head to the website, go sign up, tell them we sent you. It helps them as much as, or it really helps us as much as it helps them. And you get a bunch of perks. It's only $100 a year. If you really break it down, it's not that much. Let's see. Scrape Doctor. This episode is going to be with James. So we don't need to cover that. Victory Archery. I am running the HLRs. Absolutely love them. Absolutely love them. They're basically the RIP TKOs, but lighter, which allows me to run a little bit faster setup. And I just their quality is unmatched, right? And that's not all they have. They have the VLR, the Rival X, RIP TKOs, and then for the budget guys that maybe don't want to spend a ton of money, they still have the V-Force line, which is honestly just as good. It's just a standard diameter. So Victory has you covered, man. And look, I've said it a million times. I do believe that Victory is the best arrow brand out there. I would shoot their stuff even if they weren't a partner. So next up, Catalyst Archery. Listen, high quality stabilizers at an affordable price. Okay. Can't beat that. They are going to be part of the giveaway along with Osseo. I think G5, possibly Boutique, Moultrie might get involved in that. I'm working on all of that stuff. But Catalyst Archery, dude, their stabilizers are fantastic. And the customization you can do, or that at least is coming, is going to be, it's going to be different. It's going to stand out. And last but not least, Unbound Archery. And those are the strings that I run. I actually, funny enough, I think I may have talked about this in the episode last week. I don't fully remember, but my bow fell last week and I did scuff up my strings just a smidge. Called Nick. I said, "Hey, dude, what's going like what do I do about this?" And he had an instant fix. And dude, the strings are still shooting just as good as they were when they were brand new. They're still basically brand new. But Unbound Archery quality is amazing. And Nick can do any color you want. He also offers a Crayola package, which is just random colors thrown together, and you have no idea what you're going to get till it shows up. I think that's pretty sick. So if you guys need new strings, head over to Unbound Archery and go check out what Nick can do for you. So that's all the partners, right? Little update on the bow shoot. Bow shoot is happening. I'm going to confirm everything probably tomorrow, or early next week. Get everything situated, taken care of. There's a few new hoops I had to jump through, which is fine. I actually I just realized I need to talk to Jessica about something, so I'll probably do that before we get started in this podcast. But yeah, the bow shoot's happening. So we've got a bunch of giveaways. I'm giving away a 2023 Bear Whitetail Max. That was my personal bow that I'm not using anymore, and I figured someone who is out there that needs a new bow deserves it more than me, right? So that's going to be like the big giveaway thing. I figured out how I'm doing it. I will not say how until the shoot, right? Um, but it's going to be fun. The only difference this year for everybody that's listening that's coming, the only difference is that we are going to have waivers we have to sign. It's a new thing DNR needs, and it helps me out as well because it lets me get my investment back. So it's nothing but just signing your name, pretty much releasing us of all liability or releasing you guys. I really don't know how that stuff works, honestly, but yeah, that's everything that's going on with that. That's all the updates on the podcast, on the shoot. So before we get started with James, listen, I prayed about it before this episode, and I just asked God to use me. And you know, I want Him to speak through me to y'all, right? I personally have been struggling a little bit, not with my faith or like not believing or anything, but just kind of, there's days that it comes easy where I feel the Holy Spirit and I can feel the Lord with me and I just know, right? Um, and those are pretty good days. And there's some days where he feels distant. And I said it one time in an episode before, but like the way I look at it is like a father's parenting or like a parent's parenting, right? Where say you're taking your kid to the park, right? And you let them run off a little bit. You can still see them, but you're not like holding their hand the whole time, right? You watch them, you keep your eyes on them, but you're letting them do what they're gonna do. And eventually they go a little too far, and if you call them back, they'll come back. It's the same thing with the Lord, and he allows us to go further away from him so that we can realize that we still need him. And I have that realization every single day. Jesus has changed my life, right? There is nothing that is ever going to make me deny him. I don't care how dark my life might get, how much bad things might happen. I mean, listen, they're doing all this alien stuff, right? I think aside from what think, I guess you could say politically over that, which I'm not getting into that. Um, I just think that we really need to put our focus on Jesus, right? I have had days where I don't, and they're horrible days. He is the way, the truth, and the life, right? That's a fact. And what he's done for me, I plainly can see now. I understand his his grace. I understand his forgiveness. I understand his mercy so much better now that I've actually got a relationship with him. And look, I'm not perfect. No Christian is. Nobody's perfect except Jesus. And all I know is life without him is miserable. And I want every single one of you listening to be with me when our time on this earth is done, up in heaven. I want to see you there. I want you to experience a relationship like I have, right? See some of the things that I've seen, see the miracles that I've seen. Man, I just sometimes I get a loss for words when I talk about him because I truly I it sounds so simple. To put it all in a nutshell, he will change your life. Okay. All you have to do is place your faith in him, which means trusting him in everything. So fully surrender. That means when you go to do something, whatever you want, fine. But always follow what the Lord wants. Whatever the Lord wills, that's what is going to happen. And that's how you fully surrender is just say, Lord, not my will, but your will be done. And sometimes people struggle with that. So look, that's my preacher moment. There's really nothing else to say. So this podcast was a good one. It was fun. And I just want to thank all of you for listening, right? For sticking through and being there and being supportive. It means a lot to me. So yeah, let's get into it with Mr. James Holm, the Scrape Doctor. A spicy episode incoming. We got my buddy James Holm, the Scrape Doctor, back on the podcast. Normally, I said this in the intro too. Normally, we talk about scrapes when you're on, and we may touch on that a little bit. But dude, you live in Michigan, and Michigan has been pretty much the talk of the town as I guess the past month or so. I know the Hunter guys did an episode with somebody from Michigan talking about some of the game law proposal changes that were, I guess, coming. And then you actually were at the meeting yesterday, and we were supposed to record this yesterday. And I guess you got home too late or the meeting went long or something, but
Yeah, we didn't get the meeting didn't end until 7 o'clock last
that's
night.
insane. That's
So
so insane. So I figured this episode, because like we were just talking, Georgia has kind of tinkered around or played with the idea of changing our game laws, and you're living it right now. So I
yeah,
wanted to hear it straight from you, see what's going on, and maybe we agree on everything, maybe we agree on nothing, but I figured doing a podcast on it would be smart, because it gets people thinking. People can see what could happen to us down here in surrounding states.
yeah,
And, maybe we could try to figure out at least what y'all's deer herd and everything's going to look like in the future. So,
right.
um, yeah, before we get into all that stuff, what's been going on other than all of this?
Well, honestly, this has been, I mean, it's been a little longer than that. I mean, these guys have been, the one buck crowd's been pretty loud for a few months now,
Yeah.
making a lot of noise, bringing this to the front. Um, so yeah, that's been the last few months, just watching that evolve and see where it was going to go and all of that. And then just kind of, I mean, we're in our springtime run right now. Starting getting everybody freshened up and started off, on the new places. We're visiting some new places with some new people and all of that. So yeah, we're learning some new things this spring as we go along that are kind of for us.
Yeah.
So which is great. It's I'm still it's some of it's mind blowing and some of it leaves me scratching my head like why is this happening? But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, so just that stuff was a rough winter here. We had
Really?
a rough winter snow wise here. Yeah. Um,
Man, that's like what, 2 years in a row you guys had a pretty rough winter up there. I mean,
yeah.
that's so much for
Yeah.
global warming.
Right. I mean, I say we had a rough winter. We didn't have the UP's winter.
Yeah.
There were places that had 360 inches of snow for the season.
Dude, how
Uh,
deep is that? That's
20 plus feet. 96 inches is 8 feet. So,
yeah.
so you got 30 feet, 30
Well,
feet.
yeah, I was gonna say if you've got 12,
Yeah,
12 inches in a foot and you 360, yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's crazy.
that's a
That's
lot.
crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
dude,
So, we dealt with that this year. So it was not, honestly, there was no woods time here in the
yeah.
winter. Um,
Well, didn't you guys have a like pretty gnarly tornado come through like late winter, early spring, just a little while ago?
Tornadoes here. What happened to us was we were actually in Florida on vacation,
Yeah.
and we got a damn blizzard
In
at the
Florida?
in the no here in the middle of March.
Oh,
We got hit with 4 feet of snow,
dude, that's insane.
and it was
What
all
is
gone.
going
It
on?
was bare ground, and then bam, we got whacked with this big storm. Well, it killed a lot of deer.
I bet.
Um, so it was kind of like a second winter all
Yeah.
over. So yeah, and then spring came and snow went away, and now we're out doing the scrape thing, making ropes, doing that. So
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's on my list of like to-dos because I've already planted one food plot. I'm probably gonna save the second one for late summer because I want to do oats since oats grow like everywhere. So it's really hard for me to have that plan, but it's 2 months off, you know?
yeah,
Like I was just
yeah,
talking to my wife about it. I was like, well, because she asked me, she's like, because we've been budgeting a lot, like we're trying to save money and stuff, get rid of a bunch of debt. So she was like, are you planning on getting deer feed this coming week? I was like, I mean, I want to. I don't know if I'll have time to go. I was like, I'll probably just get a food block and stick it out there. That way they kind of stick
yeah,
around a little bit. Which I've totally changed up how I do. Like I am relying solely on woodsmanship, scrapes, and food plots this year. I'm not going to do this whole, feeding weekly, because I've been doing that for 7 years and nothing's changed. I've killed what, 4 bucks maybe in that time frame, none of which are mature. And it's like, dude, I want to start really trying to, I want to kill more deer, but I also want to try and at least get a mature buck. And your
right,
stuff worked. I'll tell you right now, I was posting videos last year, dude. Your stuff works. I just, I don't think I think me going in and like putting in a bunch of food every single week, whether it works or not, that was hurting me. So
yeah,
I have a whole new list of things. I've gone fully mobile. I need to get my scrapes out in the next couple of weeks, just to get them established and stuff. So Yeah, I might have to get you back on after this episode and actually we do another deep dive on scrapes because I know we're not going to get to it today. Like,
No, probably not.
yeah,
Probably not.
there's too
I
many
mean,
things.
really, there was a lot talked about at that meeting.
Yeah,
And honestly, the bulk of the meeting, the length of the meeting was public comment.
I'm
You know,
sure.
there were a lot of people there.
Yeah,
And 99.9% of the public comment was the deer regulations. There were a
yeah,
couple other people that wanted to be heard about some other things, and that's what it was for.
yeah,
So, but the bulk of it was, the deer regs.
yeah,
So, the bottom line is, and then we can go backwards from here, is Michigan, the lower peninsula of Michigan is now a $1 state. The lower peninsula. The
yeah,
upper peninsula got left alone. They still have the combo tag and are allowed $2. So that's a whole nother subject that's going to get talked that you're going to start to see that pop up now because they need some help up there.
yeah,
So, um, so now, and then as we talked about before we went on the air, where I live, I'm in the Northwest. They call it the Northwest 12, Northwest 13, because there's 13 counties that a decade or so ago, they fought and fought and fought to get antler point restrictions in.
yeah,
So they finally managed to get it passed. And when we had the $2 tag, the combo tag, the first buck had to have 3 points or more on one side. The second buck had to have 4 points or more on one side. So, well, that was all well and dandy. So now you fast forward a decade to now, and it's what it's done for the age class and the antler size is truly remarkable.
yeah,
I was 100% dead set against it when they first started to implement it. I hated it. I didn't want to do it.
yeah.
Um, and then they did it anyway because it doesn't matter. Because they were doing the right thing then, also. And here we are now, and these deer are we live in one of the best parts of Michigan to kill big bucks.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that like really what I've heard most about is Southern Michigan is where a lot of the giants are at. I don't know if I've heard much about
I'm
the
not going to
Northwest.
say I'm not now. Look, I'm not saying we have giants.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying like the quality of deer. It's kind of like Georgia, north you go north, there's big deer, but there's not many of them. You go south, there's giant deer and they're pretty much not the giant deer everywhere, but there's deer everywhere, you
Yeah.
know. Which
Where
makes
where
sense.
where are you in the state? Where are you at?
Middle. I'm right there in the middle.
Gotcha.
So, like if you know where Atlanta's at, I'm an hour east of that.
Oh,
So,
okay. Yeah.
yeah, we've got good genetics. I mean, I've seen a 160 on public. I've had a 160 on camera. I've had a couple 130s before. I mean, it's not like we're, Iowa or Ohio, but we got
Well,
good
I see.
deer. So,
That's also the thing. I've said on other recordings and typed and said and talked to guys and said, I've never said I was against the $1 rule.
yeah.
'Cause in theory, I'm not against it. I don't hate it. I've done it for 10 years on my own with this
Yeah.
combo. So I'm not against it. I was against what they were telling people was going to happen because we did it. And
Oh,
not,
I'd love to hear that.
let's just not tell the truth about it. It, if you think about a $1 rule, I'm not sure that it's not really helping the health of the herd.
Yeah.
You're just eliminating one dead buck.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. And increasing the antlerless take is what the goal of that is,
Yeah.
by one more deer.
I
Well,
mean,
okay. It's not, you're never going to balance an out of balance herd that way. It's not going to work. I'm not going to say that the quality of the bucks isn't going to go up because it is.
yeah.
How can it not? Because all those extra deer that, even though they did say it's only 6%, the count number is it makes it sound a little more dramatic than 6%. I can tell you
Yeah.
that because I don't quote the number, but I do believe they said that it was around 32,000 bucks total is what that 6% equates to. So
Yeah.
that's really not a sneeze. That's quite a few deer.
Yeah, but what's y'all's deer density like up there? Or
It's,
really in the state as a whole? I know there's a ton of them, but like,
and that's the thing. That's the big argument with this is Southern Michigan's overrun with deer. They're like Southern Georgia.
yeah,
You go up where we're at, we don't have population here. We don't have a lot of deer, not at
yeah,
all. Um, and then you go east of here, and there's more deer, but it's the middle section, middle of the state. Say, if you were to look at our state and find Lansing on the map,
hmm,
and go north from Lansing on 127, um, to say Clare, that corridor, you're going to count more dead deer on the road there than just about anywhere in the state.
hmm,
Um, we count them every trip we make through there. We count in the high 20s to mid 30s dead on the
yeah,
road. So they need help there. They need guys actually pulling the trigger and not just buck hunting. Um,
yeah. Well, isn't
so
there a place in Michigan where it's like you are not legally allowed to hunt, and that's where like the giant deer live?
they have well, the if you get in like around Detroit, that
Yeah,
area of the state, there's a lot of counties there and suburban areas where there's no hunting at all, and
so
there are
cool.
some absolute Ohio, Iowa,
Oh yeah,
Indian caliber bucks in there that are just megas that are
yeah. I've
never
seen
going to get
pictures of
shot.
like a 230 from that area, and it's like, dude,
Huge bucks in neighborhoods with giant double drop, just
yeah, yeah.
ridiculous.
It's
Um,
insane.
and those are the places they need to open up to bow hunting.
Yep.
And look, I get it. These people are losing their yards and stuff to these deer, so they're
Yeah.
going to be open to it for the most part. I'm sure you're going to get every neighborhood's going to have one Gladys Kravitz that doesn't want you to even fart inside your own house.
Yeah.
You know, so and that's fine. You don't deal with that lady. You avoid her.
hmm.
So, and that's the issue down there. And they do have a lot of deer in those suburban areas because the
Yeah.
neighborhoods are overrun with them.
Well, yeah,
Um,
it's just like Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta's the exact same way, except we can actually bow hunt there, which doesn't make
yeah,
sense to me because like Georgia's very, very what's the word? Open when it comes down to their like their game laws. We get 10 does, 2 bucks. If you get quota hunts and you get drawn for specialty hunts and stuff like that, you can actually kill five bucks in a year. I know guys that have done it. And
um,
that's throughout the entire state. Now we do have antler restriction, right? It's 4 on one
mm.
side or 15-inch spread. Um,
Is that statewide?
no, there's certain counties that are like that. So actually an hour south from me, near Macon, or actually in Macon, they have antler restriction. Now some public land has that. Um, so I'm not gonna say it's like super simple, but to me that makes the most sense. If anything, I feel like I personally wish that we had like a earn a buck system down here, because our doe harvest numbers last year. Now, I consider last year sort of a wash. It was a very, very weird year here. Not many people were killing. I didn't see many deer. The last deer I saw was the one that I killed, and I hunted
Yeah,
for 2 months after that. Um, but I normally that's not the case. So like I personally think a 1 buck or earn a buck system here could work because we do need to kill more does.
yeah,
Like our doe population is insane. But
yeah.
so let's do this. Run me through, and obviously we can't fit 12 hours worth of conversation in a
Right.
1.5 hour podcast, but what were some of the points that like, I guess, what were some of the arguments for the changes and what were some of the arguments against the changes?
Well, the all the arguments for the changes are herd health and balanced herd. That's the argument. You're going to balance the herd. You're going to put the buck to doe ratio back in check.
Hmm.
Um, it'll create better rut hunting. It'll create more of this, more of that. We used Pennsylvania as a model for some of that because they went to the 1 buck with antler point restrictions, and now it's the most glorious state on the East Coast to deer hunting apparently. And I know people that live there, and I talk to them, and that's not the case.
Yeah.
It's also very dependent on the geographic location. You
Yeah.
know, you're it's just again like Michigan. That's the only way you're gonna be able to compare the two. Truthfully, is the numbers of hunters are they used all of these numbers, and it's just if they don't add up quite the same, because Michigan is very unique as far as property sizes are tiny.
Yeah.
All the big farms are broken into 5 and 10 acre chunks. We don't have 80s and 100s and 200s. We don't have that.
Yeah.
If you find a farm to hunt that's 400 acres, it's a monster. It's probably the biggest farm in a 2-county area.
That's crazy.
If they own the ground, I mean, there's a lot of farmers that lease a lot of ground to farm.
Yeah.
They don't own it. So there you're dealing with a private landowner, and now you're dealing with the farmer that's on the land also.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of the deal with the antler point restrictions, is the comparison between the two to convince that's going to be the balancing. That's going to how you're going to balance this herd. The argument against was basically lost opportunity. The guys felt like you're losing an opportunity because, I mean, and I can see both sides of this argument. Really, I can.
Yeah.
And if they're saying the lost opportunity is, okay, I go out in archery season, the first week of archery season, and I fill my buck tag, I'm done for the year. Well, the immediate answer to that is no, it isn't. You can go out and fill the back half of your combo tag and shoot a doe.
Yeah.
That's the immediate response from everybody, both sides, is it should be. Well, you still have a tag legally. And I mean, you did buy it, so maybe you should fill it and everything,
Yeah.
So that was one of the arguments. And then the loss of tradition. We talked about the tradition loss. It's going to cause guys not to want to go to camp. They won't spend money to travel to shoot a doe. But that was before they said that we could keep because they were trying to eliminate the single buck tag. You only got a buck tag if you bought the combo with a forced doe tag. That's where everybody thought this was going. And that's why it's such an uproar with the 1 buck. And I think the compromise that settled the anger was the 1 buck tag, the single buck.
Yeah.
I think that helped calm the nerves of all these guys that thought they were going to not get to have a buck, because I don't think I've ever agreed more or at all with everybody keeps saying that Michigan is antler centric. Everything we think about here is antlers, antlers, antlers. I've never believed that more than I do after that meeting, and it's because I listened to all the guys that were dead set against the 1 buck, and it was all because they wanted that second. Yeah. Well, why do you need the second buck? Because you want those antlers. I mean, come on. You're not going to get any more meat off of a 2.5-year-old buck than you are off of a 3-year-old doe. You're just not gonna. Yeah. It's a wash on that argument.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the way I personally would, because I would be for the 1 buck, right? I basically already said that about Georgia. If their goal to kill more does is their goal, then why not do the earn a buck? And like, even for Georgia, because I've had this conversation with people who live here and they don't agree with it. They're like, no, man, we need our 2 bucks. What if I got 2? I'm like, dude, first off, the odds of getting 2 mature bucks in one season, not saying you can't do it, it's pretty low. And what do? You spend all season chasing those 2. You're not shooting any does, or maybe you shoot a couple, but that's not going to do anything. 2 does off a property won't do anything. So the way I see it is like, okay, give us 1 buck tag, right? And then make us earn the second, right? Because you can still shoot, like I shot a spike last year. If I didn't have a second buck tag, I will tell you right now, I probably wouldn't have shot that deer. And I'm not one to be like, oh, I want to tag out on bucks, because I know how hard it is, Yeah. And I get the tradition. I get well, what if? But that's just exactly what it is. It's a what if, Well, and there's no incentive to shoot does other than meat. And I mean, I just feel like you said it. No one's going to travel to shoot a doe. You know what I'm saying?
And they're not going to go set up a whole deer camp, and go through the expense of buying all the food, the beer, the fun.
Exactly.
Put in all the work cutting the firewood, do all the things you got to do for deer camp for a pile of does. I'm sorry, but they're not going to.
Yeah. And I love hunting, but I wouldn't do it.
and that's where I think this 1 buck rule has saved all that.
Yeah.
It saved that. It did save the tradition of deer camp and all of that by keeping that there, because look, there are guys that only get to hunt that first 3 days of the season, and they don't want that combo tag. They want to kill 1 buck and be done.
Yeah.
Well, now they can. But they did put a 3-point antler restriction on the single buck tag, which is whatever. Like I said, we have them here, so it's a normal day for me.
Yeah.
But on the combo tag outside of this area where I live, it's hunter's choice. You could do what you did and shoot a spike if you'd like.
Yeah. Or you could let them walk and try to kill something bigger.
Right. Or you could let that go and shoot a bigger one, or you can shoot 2 does.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's what I was going to ask you, just so I understand. So basically, Michigan now offers a buck tag and then a combo tag, which basically means you can shoot one or the other, or you can shoot 2 does, correct?
Yeah. And what it is the single tag is either sex.
Okay.
And if you shoot a buck, it has to have 3 points or more on one side. Simple as that. That one's easy. Go to the combo tag. That one is good for a buck of the hunter's choice, no restrictions, or a doe, or 2 does.
Got it. Okay.
And then
now I'm following.
this is where I confused you earlier. And then you come into the 13 counties where I live.
Yeah.
Okay, the first buck tag's just 3 on one side, no matter what.
Okay.
But then you do the combo tag. That buck tag also is 3 on one side or more.
Oh.
Where we live.
So it's more of a management style.
We're in that original 13 counties where they implemented the APRs, and that nobody wanted that undone. We didn't want to go backwards to the any choice and start shooting spikes and 3 points again.
Dang, so they really did go backwards.
They did out. Well, they didn't.
Well, not where you're at.
Right. Not where we're at, but the rest of the state. Well, no, the rest of the state had the same tag. They could kill anything they wanted. Just like Georgia.
So what changed?
They took away one of the buck tags. And they added by adding the choice of just the single buck tag.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That implemented a statewide 3-point APR.
Got it.
So yeah, it's and that's it. You're like, your mind is going, how am I going to keep this up right?
Yeah.
Now imagine living here and dealing with all of the rules.
The way I would simplify it is I'm only going to kill 1 buck, and it's going to be a buck that's legal, and everything else is going to be does. That's the only way I'd be able to simplify it.
And that's exactly what they want you to do. That's the goal and the bottom line is to shoot 1 buck, kill a bunch of does.
Yeah.
And they did change our doe system. We can have 10 for the whole state, but now they've broken up the state by county, and put a quantity in each county that you can kill there. So like the 2 counties that I hunt, we can kill 3 in each county. So I could go kill 3 in each county. So that's 6. I still got 4 more tags.
That you would have to go to different counties in order to kill.
Yes, I can travel to a different county.
That's confusing.
And in the state of Michigan, truthfully, that's very, very easy because our counties are very small.
Okay.
We literally drive 10 miles and we're in another county.
Wow. I guess our counties really aren't that big then.
Well, compared to here, they're really big. Trust me. I've driven through here. It's horrible.
It is pretty bad.
It's one of the biggest, most giant states in the world to drive through.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, coming back from TAC, the drive up there actually felt shorter than the drive back, probably because I was tired and sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, Georgia, I mean, and see, that's the thing is like, I just feel like to me, $2 is greedy. Honestly.
You guys are where we were just at. $2, 3 does. I don't know if I want to call it greedy though, man. But go ahead and explain what you mean because it might mean something totally different than you know what I mean?
So what I mean by that is when I say greedy, I know guys, okay, that will literally sit there and tell you that the first buck they see, doesn't matter how big it is, gets shot. And then they are like, okay, now I'm going to go kill something bigger. That's the way I always used to do it. Right. But then those are the same guys that go on Facebook and they're complaining about the fact that Georgia doesn't have any big deer and they want to know why. And they complain about Seek One killing all the big giants in Atlanta and all this other stuff. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, well, if you didn't kill that 3 point, that's only a year and a half old, give them some time and maybe focus more time on the bigger deer that you really do want to kill, but you don't, maybe the guy doesn't want to spend the time, right? And that's perfectly fine. But if you're going to sit there and complain about it on Facebook,
Right.
you have no right to do that because there's no effort being put in. That's what I mean by greedy is like, I I will congratulate anybody on anything they kill as long as it's not a fawn, right? But I also am kind of, especially having chased mature deer for 2 years. I spent 2 years trying to kill one specific deer that was 4.5 one year, 5.5 the next, and he was the smartest deer I've ever hunted.
Yeah.
And that taught me that, like, okay, it's two completely different things. So if you want to just kill a buck, by all means, go ahead. But that's your only buck.
Yeah.
If you want to kill a big buck, by all means, go ahead, but that's your only buck. Shoot does if you want to get practice or if you want meat in the freezer. That's my plan. Like,
right. I mean, if you're gonna be able to manage a piece of property, you have to figure out a way to do that through killing does. I mean, you don't
exactly.
full population with bucks. They only, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're it just doesn't quite work that way.
Yeah, and you're never gonna get a big deer if you kill him when he's two.
No.
That's just a fact.
You know, and then we've jumped into the there let's cover some of the rule changes and then we'll talk about some of this other
Yeah.
because look, I just talked with some other guys and we covered a lot of this stuff and I got sidetracked on some of it and I don't want to do that here.
Hey,
So
by all means,
kind of
you have
want
the
to keep
floor.
myself focused on the rule stuff first. And then we'll BS a little bit about some of this other stuff that came out of the meeting for me.
By all means.
So we changed to the 1 buck thing. Southern Michigan's broken up into 3 zones. The Upper Peninsula is zone 1. That got left as is. They left it alone. They still have the 2 buck rule up there. So they're doing their own thing. So now you drop down into the Lower Peninsula and we're broken into zone 2 and zone 3. And which is basically the center of the state cut in half, lower half. Okay. If you look at the mitten like so, you just basically cut it in half right across there, like that.
Yeah.
So down in zone 3, they're going to do a pilot of an Ernebuck system.
Ooh.
2 counties. And I bring this up right the first thing because you just talked about it. And I saw immediately, you're like, oh,
yeah.
I like this. Well, here's how the Ernebuck system was explained, how they were going to operate this. The Ernebuck tag starts at the very beginning. You have to shoot a doe first before you ever get a doe tag or a buck tag. The first deer you kill is a doe.
Okay.
Then you get your first buck tag. Then you kill a buck. Then you kill another doe to get the second buck tag. But here's the deal. You can't kill the doe and then get the buck tag. You have to kill the buck and then kill that second doe to get that buck tag, the second one.
I like that.
They're forcing you to kill 3 deer to get one more tag for an antlered buck.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work. No matter where they try it, it doesn't work. They did it in Wisconsin, and all it did was got a bunch of button bucks killed. For real. Like, decimated the button bird over there.
You're touching on something I wanted to save for later.
Yeah, we're gonna save that for later.
Okay.
I got a lot to say about that myself.
Yeah.
All
right, keep going.
And then they're doing it in Virginia. And it worked for them for the first 2 years. It showed in the statistics, and then everything just dropped off and went backwards to where they were, and sometimes worse in certain areas. So, and again, it was that the buck fawns getting killed because everybody's got to kill that doe first. So the first deer that steps out gets shot. Well, that's almost 90% of the time it's the button buck.
Yeah.
You know, they're the dumbest deer on the planet.
I have seen many. I had like 4 in front of me last year, and I didn't know Like they were pretty small. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to shoot that anyway. And then funny enough, I couldn't really tell from where I was at, but I looked at the trail camera later and it was clearly a button buck. I'm like, dude, I'm glad I didn't send that because
Yeah. I mean, I
I,
have shot them. I'm not gonna lie. I
oh
mean,
yeah, but
that got brought up in the meeting that, usually when somebody shoots one, it's a mistake.
yeah,
And they rarely make that mistake twice, and they rarely make it more than twice.
yeah,
So however, I mean, I have shot them on purpose, to get, because sometimes you get one, and I won't lie, they're a bully right away from the beginning. They're a bully buck from the time they're born till the time they get taken out. Well, if I notice it and see it, they
yeah,
get it. I take them out. Won't
that's
lie.
justified.
Won't lie about that. I know it's touchy. I get it. I get it.
No, I agree with that. I've
Um,
never experienced that, but I would probably do the same thing.
and I can't say that have years of experience with it, because I think and it may just be me imagining that they're bullies and they're just pushy little deer is all it is, and they think they're tough. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Well, I might be misreading what I'm seeing and might be all wet too, but doesn't matter now because backstraps are backstraps.
exactly. They're on the grill, can't go back.
No, once they're hanging, they're done. It's
Yeah.
over. So we got the Earn a Buck pilot program going. That's 27.
Okay.
The earn
No,
or the one buck rule doesn't take effect. None of this stuff takes effect until 2027, that season,
okay.
except for these new doe regulations that starts this season.
Okay.
So like I said, we get 10 universal doe tags.
Hmm.
There's the key word. Is that the kind you have as well? You can take them wherever you want in your state.
Yep.
In Georgia. Yep.
Yeah.
I would be a big fan and a big supporter of not doing that anymore. You only buy them for your county, period. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, because that way, if you're gonna, are you truly gonna go into your app or however you buy your license? Are you truly gonna buy all 10 of your doe tags at one time? I mean, I
Well,
don't think I've ever done that in my whole life.
so the way that Georgia has it set up is it's kind of just like I every year I go in and I get three, you could call it three different licenses. It's really not. It's the hunter license, or yeah, the hunting license, the big game license, and then what do they call it? Record game record or something like that.
Okay.
Um and in that when you buy that stuff, that's where you get your $2 10 dough.
Okay.
Um so it is one singular purchase, and I see the only reason I would be against them doing county by county or maybe even just you have to buy a singular doe tag is that'd get expensive very quickly. And now I've only ever shot, I think the maximum amount of does I've shot in a year was two or three, but
Okay.
that's also because I was spending time chasing bucks and I'd let does walk a million times. So it'd be really hard for me to be okay with having to buy a doe tag every time I wanted to go. Because the thing is, like, you never really know what you're gonna get. You never fully know what's gonna show up unless you have them dialed in, like you know what
Yeah.
these deer are doing. But how many people do that? I mean, not a lot, you know. So
Right.
it kind of leaves it open where if one shows up and you're like, well, I want to shoot this doe because she's big or whatever, then you can. And you don't really have to worry about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I get it. And here we've always had to buy them individually. You know what I mean? They're all singles, instead of that one purchase for all your stuff at one time.
Yeah.
I mean, and that might be something too to think about. I mean, and they could do, because they've got it broken up it's pretty broad where there's a lot of counties that have the same amount.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you could buy, and maybe those counties, all the counties that are three, say that can take three does out of them, you buy your combo tag and you buy your three doe tags right then. Or what it would amount to is you buy your combo tag and then you could buy two more doe tags because it's three total.
Yeah.
So then you would be locked into $1, three does.
That would
Um,
make I'd be okay with that. I just
Um, and then they would still be semi-universal, right?
yeah.
There's like 35 counties that have three in it, and there's only 10 or 11 that have 10 that you can actually go that they want you to shoot 10 does in.
Now, is all this based on deer density information or data or whatever?
This
Okay.
this particular map, one of the commissioners did some research on it, and I mean, sounds like he actually looked into kills by county, went through the check, because we check now. Went through all the kills by county, and I think that's where they made where he got the recommendation for that. Honestly, it seems that way that he did it that way. It's the way I would do it to get the numbers that he got.
Yeah,
it makes sense. And I'm glad that we've done it. And I really think, again, that it needs to be even dialed in a little tighter than it is. Ohio does some stuff even by township.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, and now you're really micromanaging,
yeah.
Is it possible? Probably. It works down there, and the guys seem to abide by the rules, so, they did that. So we've changed the doe rules, which is fine. I only shoot 2 deer a year for our house anyway. And if I shoot any others, they get given away, to family or friends or whoever. If there's somebody that we know that really needs it, it's a little harder around here now to find somewhere to just donate a deer, to feed the hungry. We've lost all of that around here.
Really?
Yeah, sadly, there's not. It just went away. I don't know if there's none of the processors want to do it because there's no one to pay them is the deal.
Well, there's an easy fix for that.
There's no money for that. Well, the guys that are donating the deer don't want to pay $140 to give away, and
yeah,
I can see it. I can. But on the other hand of that, it's $140 that's going to give somebody. I mean, it's going to substantially feed somebody for a little bit at least.
Yeah.
Or just have it. I don't know, man. There's a million ways you could do it and not cost you a ton of money. Cut it up yourself.
The thing is, like, and I agree with that. Like down here, and maybe that's the best argument for having as many tags as we do. Because I used to say like, oh, let's just make it a $1 state with 5 doe tags, right? But then I actually wasn't thinking about the fact that a lot of guys, I mean, Seek One has a doe day down here in Georgia, and like all of those does get donated.
Yeah. See, and we do that here. I guess the insurance company now, this is brand new news to me about this. They do some doe days in the winter in December and shoot a bunch of does late firearm. How many they tag, how many they get, I don't really know. I probably will not be participating in that event. Because for one, I'm finished by then, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want to participate in that event. That's all.
Okay. No one's making you. I get it.
Right on. So and then we did one of the goofy rules that they changed was we used to be divided, but we've got the zones like I just explained, 1 and 2 or 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there used to be a rifle shotgun zone that was just south of that kind of zigzagged across the state. Well, above that line was any centerfire rifle that was 30 caliber. Below that line, it was shotgun only.
Okay.
Well, here comes straight wall cartridges and muzzle loaders and all of that. So then it was shotguns and muzzle loaders. And then the straight walls come and everybody jumped on the 350, 450, all of those. Bang, now those are legal down there. Well, now the whole state is any centerfire rifle. Well,
just like Georgia.
Southern Michigan is very populous, like Georgia. I mean, now think about some of the places around Atlanta where Seek One hunts. Now think about a 30-06 in there.
It's a terrible idea.
Right.
That's a terrible idea.
Right. However, there are places in Georgia where a 30-06 is 100% safe.
Yeah.
It is not an issue, and nobody would even know that you'd used it.
Mm-hmm.
But you get in near these neighborhoods and places like that, it gets asinine and dangerous.
Yeah.
And some of the reasoning for that was, well, guys are hunting from trees now. Everything's down. Well, Southern Michigan doesn't have the tree cover like we have in Northern Michigan. So no, not
Yeah.
everybody's up in the trees shooting down. Not everybody hunts from a saddle, you know. I don't even know how safe it is to hunt from a saddle with a rifle. I don't know if I would do it myself,
Yeah.
but I mean, and you hunt out of one, do you not?
No, I hunt out of a hang on. But
Oh,
even then, having hunted, like I have hunted saddle style before.
yeah.
I don't see how you do it. You'd
I
only
mean,
have one good side.
it doesn't
So
seem real safe to me, honestly, with a gun.
yeah, I
But
wouldn't do it.
right. So they did that. And that one's drawn a lot of ridicule. I don't know if that'll stay stuck or not. I don't know if it'll last. It may get
Give
turned
it
around.
5 animals, 5 pets that get shot, or some kid, God forbid, or somebody gets shot because some idiot decides to take his 30-06 from someone's backyard.
Yep,
That'll
yep,
go away really quickly. I guarantee
yep.
it.
Car windows get blown out, anything like
Yep.
that in a
Someone
neighborhood.
finds a bullet in their bathtub. It's yeah, no.
Yep, you're right. Oh, you're right about that 100%. And I hope nothing like that happens. And they said the reason part of the reasoning was because Indiana did it 10 years ago or so. They put you could use any centerfire rifle on private land,
Yeah.
but on public land it was only straight wall. Okay, so that's whatever. So then now in 2024 they said now the whole state can use any centerfire rifle. And when they got asked about accidents and all of that stuff, accidental shootings, there were no increases in the
Yeah.
accidents because of the centerfire rifles in those areas. But again, Indiana, unless you're around Indianapolis, is not metropolitan.
Yeah.
That's farm fields and scattered houses. It's not jammed in neighborhoods and cul-de-sacs. Georgia is a lot of little cul-de-sacs and neighborhoods and housing developments.
Yeah.
It's just the hey, this is what you're going to see when you get to Florida, only not quite as much.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I mean, Georgia definitely, like, because I drive around the state every single day, right? We have neighborhood and then giant patch of woods, then neighborhood, then giant patch of woods. And it's all
yeah,
connected. If you look at
yeah,
it from a map, it's all connected. There's
yeah,
ways to go from my hunting spots through the woods and make it downtown. So
yeah.
it's if Michigan's not like that, then it's
It
more
is.
dangerous. Just plain and
Southern
simple.
Michigan is broken up way even more than that with openness in those metropolitan areas because we don't have the timber. We don't have
Yeah.
big blocks of timber like that. It's been mowed down for farming, so now we have thin little hedgerows and small little 1 acre blocks of woods that people have in their yard. That's their forest. I mean, so that yeah, it's a foolish mistake. I think it's a foolish mistake is all it is, and I hope nobody gets hurt.
Yeah, no, I
Um,
agree. I
so,
really hope that we don't see in the next 2 years, stuff coming. Because the problem is, the implications of that are more than just somebody losing their life, which already is tragic. But think about like how that makes people look, or how that makes hunters look.
right.
Imagine the headline: Kid shot by hunter in neighborhood with a
Well,
30
I mean,
six.
the guns already get a bad rap. It's always,
Exactly.
and now some poor sap makes a bad decision
Yep.
and sends a round across the big field, and it goes, like you said, travels across the playground or whatever. God forbid,
Yeah.
you
Now
know.
PETA has even more ammo. The public is, because I heard someone say there's 10% hunters, 10% PETA, and 80% neutral. And I guarantee you, if a story comes out like that, that
The
80%
neutral
neutral,
party is, yep,
they're going to turn on us, and we don't
yeah.
need
Look,
that.
when children get hurt, the neutral people become angry.
Yeah.
You know,
I shoot, I get angry. I'm sure
it's no,
most of the
it's
10% will get angry.
it's no different really than the this whole thing with I'm a member of the I just want to be left alone club.
Mm-hmm. Me
You
too.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just leave me alone and nothing bad will happen.
Yeah.
The more you mess with me, the higher the chances are something could happen. Stop
Yep.
it.
I completely
So,
agree.
so yeah, and then let's see what else do we got. We got the $1 thing, which is, I mean, Georgia is exactly like Michigan. Honestly,
That's what it sounds like.
I didn't realize the exactness.
Yeah.
Truthfully,
That's what worries me a little bit because I've seen all this. I'm like, oh, dude, I can see the writing on the wall.
And the fight will be the same, I'm sure, in
Oh
Georgia,
yeah,
against and for and against and for.
I'll be
Um,
there.
and I'm sure that you could probably very easily convince the guy Lee and them from Seek One to get on board with a $1. I can't imagine why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Um, other than they are able to go kill multiple giants in the neighborhoods that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it so it's funny you say that because like before they started filming, the Giants in Atlanta was a very well kept secret. And then
Yeah,
they've caught a lot of flack for filming that and showing it. And now you can't even get a spot in those areas anymore, you
because
know?
of that.
And
Yeah,
yeah. And so what we've noticed, and I mean, Lee's even touched on this, the caliber of deer over there is starting to go down because when you see a 3-year-old that's 150 inches, that's the biggest deer you've ever seen, you shoot him. But 15 years ago, before all this came out, that 3-year-old get a pass because the guy hunting him knew in 2 years he's going to be a 200. And now it's there's still giants out there, but Lee has not killed a 200 in Georgia in God, when did he kill Zeus? Or was it Zeus? No, Thor was his last one. And I think that was 2019 or 2020. I mean, you're talking 6 years. Now I know they're out there, but there's not as many of them, is my point.
well, and the thing is, I mean, truthfully, in reality, they probably need to lay off the city for a while.
Oh, I think they have. Because I mean,
But
if
well,
you
they
watch
still
their
have to,
stuff, he's out of state all the time.
if there's no more giants there, they're you know what I mean. They're not going to
Yeah,
have there
yeah.
to hunt, which means they're not going to get paid, so they're moving on. I
Oh yeah.
mean, they're
I th-
somewhere
I
find one
think
to.
that's why he's been traveling so much. I
Yeah, I mean,
truly, truly do.
look,
Um,
that's a whole new venture for a group like them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
To travel and door knock in suburban areas and get permission and kill megas. Come on, man.
yeah. It doesn't
That's
matter where you're at. If you're pulling that
first
off,
off. First off, it takes big cojones to go to
uh,
another state in a strange neighborhood in a city
yep.
in a neighborhood and pound on doors and ask permission to hunt in their backyard.
Dude, the stories I've heard, my God, it's a miracle they're even alive. It truly is. I myself have dealt with it too. I've door knocked before, and I've had people not run me off the property, but say some of the dumbest things I've ever heard, and I just look at them like I can't even hold a conversation with you. I had a guy one time. I asked him if I could hunt. It was my mother-in-law's neighbor, and he had perfect ground. If I could have got permission there, dude, some of those big deer over there, definitely. I'm not gonna say definitely, but I would have gotten closer to killing them, right? So I go over there and I ask him, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know about that, man. I don't think that's gonna work. I got my kids here, blah blah blah." I was like, "All right, totally respect that, no problem." I was like, "But if I shoot a deer on my property and it dies on yours, do I have your permission to get it?" And Georgia is a state where you have to get permission from the landowner to retrieve your deer. This dude goes, "Yeah, man, that's not gonna work either. Like, I don't want my girls to see any of that." And I'm like, "All right, hold on." And this is what I verbatim said these words. I said, "You're telling me that you don't want your kids to see a rotting deer, or you don't want your kids to see a dead deer. But do you understand that not only if I don't get that deer, it's going to rot on your property, you're going to have predators. So if you have any pets, they're going to be in danger, and your children are going to see all of that
And smell it.
and smell it. And you're not going to want to deal with it. I'm surely not going to come take care of it because you don't feel like touching it. So then you're going to have to call DNR, and they're going to have to handle it. That's a whole thing. Like obviously DNR would do it, but like why would you do that when you have a neighbor that's perfectly willing to take that deer off your property? You probably wouldn't even know that I was there. And
Right.
he's still stuck to his guns. Was like, yeah, man, I'm just not comfortable with it. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. So that's yeah, that is it was a shock because Georgia, I mean, dude, everybody hunts down here. I had a guy at the gas station. I'd never even met this dude. Said he lives 15 minutes from me. He was like, "Yeah, man, come on over anytime you want. Come and shoot these deer." I still have yet to find him because I didn't get his information. That was my mistake. But point is, the general culture accepts deer hunting. It's just when you start getting more close to the city, that's
Yeah.
when people are like, "Deer are friends. They're so cute." I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. They taste great too." And there's way
Yeah.
too many of them. So
Well, you should just do a shout on every one of these podcasts that you do to this guy that you saw at the gas station,
I
whoever
know.
you get a hold of Eric so he can get on there and shoot some of these deer.
Yeah. Dude, my plan, if I find time, if I get like a 2 week period where just because we've been going nonstop for the past 2 months, right? If I get a 2 week period where we just aren't doing anything, which this isn't going to happen, but let's just say God works a miracle and it does, right? I know the area this guy lives in because he told me, and it's near one of my old spots. And I'm going to go to every single door until I see him and say, "Hey, remember me?" and see if we can't pull it off. So
That
who
would be
knows?
something.
That could happen. It could not. But so all right,
Yeah.
I want to bring it back to the meeting you guys had. So there was one thing
Yeah.
I noticed that I think comes up in every single one of these meetings. It's a huge topic in the community. What was there any talk about making baiting legal?
Nope.
Really?
No. The commissioners did not even talk about it.
Wow.
There's a bill in the legislature right now to bring it back. That goes through the legislature and not through the NRC, is what I learned yesterday. Until that point, I was not aware of this. I was under the assumption that the NRC made that rule and they could change it or rescind it at any time they chose, and that is not the case. So,
Okay.
however, people in the crowd brought it up.
Okay.
Everybody that brought it up was somebody that wanted it back. There wasn't a single person that said, I don't want anyone to have baiting back. Nobody said that. So whether that's going to come blow through the legislature and get back, we're going to get that back or not, I don't know. I'm not really holding my breath on it, honestly.
Yeah.
Because of the disease BS and the CWD garbage and yada trash. So until this, I mean, honestly, let's be realistic on that. Until Steven Ziegler buries the CWD community like he's doing right now, we're going to have to deal with it just a little longer.
Yeah.
But he's on the verge of making them just absolutely collapse. And
Good.
they should collapse.
Yeah, because it's a freaking joke.
It's a money grab lie. I'm not saying the disease isn't real, because clearly it is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you can test something for a disease and they have it and it comes back positive, then it's real, right? I mean, COVID was real. It was real.
You said exactly what I was thinking.
The BS.
Yeah.
It's
well,
just
so I had,
yes,
and I had a guy on from, I'm just going to say it, from the NDA, right?
Yep.
It was literally at like 2 days. This was an emergency podcast that I set up in 2 days because I knew the guy. And it was after we figured out that Georgia had its first case of CWD. And so where does my mind go? Immediately I'm thinking they're going to make baiting illegal, right?
Yep.
Now I don't hang all my hunting off of baiting, but it definitely helps, right? If I feel like killing some does or something, I cannot bait for a month. I'll go put some out and does are there. I'm not trying to kill mature bucks. I know the whole rule about mature bucks and bait. Most of the time they don't go to it. But anyway, so I had him on there and CWD came up because that was pretty much the entire episode. And I asked him point blank. I said, hey, I don't know if you can comment truthfully on this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. I heard from a reputable source that the CWD numbers were inflated because the more deer that had CWD, the more funding that I'm just going to say DNR or whatever you want to call it, the more funding DNR got. Is that true? And he said no. And his reasoning was that this is what made no sense. He said CWD was not inflated. Those numbers are accurate. And it is a big problem because there was a 3-year-old doe that they were following around and they tested her. She had it. And within 3 years, she died from CWD. Was the claim. My thing is, then how are we having 9+-year-old does that are getting killed that are tested positive and there is absolutely no symptoms being shown? That either means that these deer are handling it differently, which is highly possible, or it's not as bad as you think.
Or it's that whole, what is that term we used to use when this whole thing started with COVID? Herd immunity.
Yeah.
They're going
to tested that too. They've seen that too.
Going to build herd immunity this way. I mean, and I will stand firm on the side that this is just a sham.
I agree.
It's nothing more than a money grab.
I completely agree. Because if it was as bad as they said.
And they've been outed, they're caught. That's all. They're caught with their hand in the cookie jar, and now it's time to pay back the piper.
Well, and think about it like this. CWD came out, like the first case was a mule deer in Colorado back in what, the 50s?
Yeah, a million years ago.
Yeah. If it's as
Shouldn't
bad as
all
they
the deer be
say,
dead? Shouldn't they all be dead?
exactly my point. Exactly my point. If it's as bad as they say,
Right.
how do we still have deer
Or elk or
or
any of the
elk
other
or any cervid right
serpents.
now? Because they said caribou have it, moose have it, freaking all the antlered deer in North America apparently have it. Even places in Europe they have it. They're not
Yeah.
dropping dead. It's not like I hated when I first heard about it and they were like, "Oh, it's a zombie deer disease," and I'm like, "Dude, what is this?" And
Mm.
it's not even that. I mean, I've seen videos of deer with EHD that I would say, "Oh, that's a zombie deer for sure," just because it looks so emaciated and it's walking in circles, it's drowning itself. Like that makes sense. But a CWD deer, I'm sure I've eaten it plenty times.
I have no doubt that I have,
Yeah.
truthfully.
So it's like, why all the regulation? And I understand why it's money, it's
Well, and the
power.
thing is okay, so you want more antlerless deer killed, blah blah blah, because of CWD, yada yada yada. Well, in these zones where here at least the tags are $5, the doe tags
It's not
in those
bad.
hot zones. Also in our bovine tuberculosis area, we have one of those too. Um, and those doe tags are $5 a piece, and those guys can't get people to come kill deer over there because that realistically is dangerous to people.
Yeah.
You split the chest on a deer and look in there, and you got little spots in there. You've got to be super careful.
Yeah.
And truthfully, those deer just should be left right where they lay, um, and not messed with. Because once they're open, that exposes you to that in the air. So you should just not be around it, truthfully.
Yeah.
So that is real. That's a
Yeah.
real risk. You know that can kill you.
The CWD.
CWD. Am I going to really get that and anything happen to me? I doubt it. Can it
Oh,
be
dude,
transferred to us? No.
the amount of people that have eaten a CWD deer and we're not living in the movie I Am Legend should be proof enough. You
I
know,
mean,
like,
it's got to be an astronomical amount of pounds of
oh,
venison been positive.
guarantee it.
Eat,
Guarantee it.
you know, um,
It's it's just I don't know. The CWD thing is just stupid to me.
it's
And
a huge, huge rabbit hole that could take 7 episodes of this to talk
oh,
about,
yeah.
and still nothing would get solved.
No.
We're going to all say the same things, and the government's going to keep getting bashed into the corner. And they're backed up against the wall now.
Yeah.
You
I need to
know,
look and see what Ziegler's doing because I heard a little bit about that, but when I see the when I see the letter CWD, my brain just turns off because I'm like, dude, it's
he has gotten some serious information. Just go over on the Rack Junkies page
okay.
and follow what he's got. Go read through what he's found and the stuff that he's said already.
Yeah, didn't he
And the
post
people
something
that
like a couple days ago? Okay.
he's outed some people at the top of the NDA.
Oh
I mean,
wow. Well, what's funny is okay, so the dude that I know exactly what you're talking about. The post that he made is exactly the guy that was on the podcast. And
was it?
yeah, and the thing is what I hate, this is what I don't like about this. I'm not going to name him just out of respect, but that
Yeah,
dude's a good dude. He really is, right? Like he's a good guy. I think just what the NDA specifically has done in this situation is wrong. I'm not judging his character. I'm not saying he's some terrible person, but there does come a point where it's like, okay, if you know that this stuff is not true, why are you pushing it?
they're
Because of
still
money? Like that it's disgusting. That's where I draw the line. I'm like, okay, so you care more about lining your pockets than you do, the
yep.
betterment of A, the herd,
And
and B, the hunting experience.
yep. And
So
he listed. I mean, they listed the whole pay scale too. They over
yeah,
on Rack Junkies how much these guys are getting paid. From the top down, and it's huge amounts of money.
yep.
Plus
Again,
all
greed.
the research money. Where'd all that money come from? And now how's it all? Why they should be forced to pay that back?
I
I mean,
agree. Well, see, I look at stuff like this, like our church, right? I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. They actually gave every single one of us that was there a pamphlet that showed where all the donations, where all their money's going, all the budgets, and all this other stuff. I love that. That's open and transparent.
Yep.
If you're some organization that's supposed to be helping, a cause and people are donating or you're getting money from somebody, make it public. Let us see where it's going. And if we don't like it, we should have the right to change that, to tell you, hey, this 20
Yeah.
grand you spent on Cabo, what are you doing in Cabo? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Why is the NDA in Cabo?
yeah, exactly. It's like, dude, come on, really? It doesn't,
Mhm.
first off, it shouldn't cost that much. I don't want to know what you were spending the money on, but yeah, dude, I was curious about the baiting thing because like Georgia, I think back in
Yeah.
2018 is when it became legal to bait everywhere. I I don't remember exactly what it was before that. I know the state was split. I think it was North Georgia you could bait, South Georgia you couldn't, or it was flipped the
Okay.
other way around. Then they made it legal everywhere, and now it's at the point that if you don't have a food plot or a corn pile, you ain't gonna see nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which that's a whole different thing. But
Yeah.
what's funny is I know on good authority that in states, especially Michigan, that you're not supposed to bait, people still do it. Tractor
Oh
Supply sells
man,
feeder corn, like
every gas station that you drive by has got
yeah,
pallets, carrots and sugar beets and apples and corn. I mean,
exactly. So,
they outlawed baiting, but they didn't stop the baiting. You know what I mean?
yep. There's so
And
many loopholes with that. It's ridiculous. So the way I see it is why not just make it legal? Because the thing is, think about it like this. If if baiting was legal, when you guys have those tough winters, those deer are going to survive because they have food that's out there.
well, the thing is if that's the only reason I want it back is because if we can bait, that means we can feed all winter long.
Yep.
We can give. We're not even allowed to supplemental feed in the winter. This winter we needed to feed the deer and we were not allowed to legally. Our hands were tied.
Yeah. But you
And
know why they don't let you? Because they see that as
well, it's helping control the population.
exactly.
They want
Exactly.
those deer to die because it's natural mortality. I
Yep.
understand the science.
But
I
why make
get
them
it.
suffer is
You
my
know,
thing.
I get it that it's part of the natural. You got to lose some to win or kill. You got to do this. You got to do that. Well, you're going to lose some regardless. If even if you're winter feeding, they're going to die.
Oh yeah.
Predation will get them more because of the deep snow. And I mean, you're
There's
not
a
going
lot
to
of
keep.
different reasons.
There is, and they have a lot of different reasons why not.
Yeah.
And it
So
is what it is. We do what we want. We do what we can, you know. So, and I don't know that there's trying to think. I'm thinking back through all the stuff now, and I don't think we've missed anything. Honestly, let's see, we got the rifle line, so they can start shooting up neighborhoods because that'll probably happen. Um,
Detroit's gonna be the new Chicago.
it already is. The
Oh
one
God.
buck rule, the earn a buck pilot program that's going to be the changes, the date changes. They didn't do that. They decided to leave that alone. They were going to shorten rifle. Oh, that's what they did. They eliminated our muzzleloader season.
Yeah, I heard about, wasn't it like late January or something like that? You guys could
Now all the seasons stop on January 1st. There are nothing past that now.
wow.
They just ended it all. I mean, all the urban,
That's
everything shuts off on January 1st.
and they expect you to kill more does by doing
Right.
that?
Right. That was a whole conversation about that. I mean, they even had to bring the biologist back up and with paperwork with numbers, and they wanted to see facts about what was going on before they ended it all. And the numbers the numbers that they eliminated being taken sound pretty substantial,
Yeah.
honestly, as far as southern Michigan goes, which is the goal to reduce that herd. Um, and that's the only place where they had that late January through season. Uh, so yeah, they cut that out. So I mean, we've always needed to end ours up here then,
Yeah.
especially this far north. We need to stop because we hunt them hard from September to January.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's time to stop. And then the muzzleloader thing now, it used to be like the Saturday after the end of the rifle season or firearm season. So
Yeah.
if and that's still it's going to be the first Saturday of December is when the second fire they changed the name to second firearm season and it's
Hmm.
3 days long instead of the muzzleloader season was 10 days. So
You know what they need to do?
the the logic behind doing that is now we're not gonna kill near as many shed bucks
Well,
by ending by shortening that season and ending everything on the 1st of January. We're not going to kill as near as many shed bucks because it by the time that time of year up here hits, we've normally got fairly deep snow and it's hard to get around, and most guys have given up by
yeah,
then. They don't want to trudge through thigh deep snow to carry their crossbow or their bow in, to bow hunt to shoot a doe. You know,
yeah, I get
um,
that.
there are just a lot of guys that have basically given up here by then. But you also drive an hour and a half south of here, and you don't have any snow. So
So this is what I would, and again, pulling from Georgia's regulations, I would say they should have done what we do. Start like our first day, our opening day is the second Saturday in September,
yeah,
which is bow season. You get a what is it? I think a 3.5 week bow only, or really archery only. So you could get a crossbow, you get a trad bow, compound, whatever. Um, that's what all that falls under. And then you get a week or two of primitive weapon. So muzzleloader, atlatl, spear. I actually don't think you can hunt deer with spears, but you get my point. Primitive weapon. And then, which you can also, I believe, use a shotgun during that season. Don't quote me on that. And then the second weekend of October is any weapon, rifle, muzzleloader, atlatl, bow, whatever you want.
right.
And that goes until the end of the season. And we have extended archery counties and stuff like that. But to me, that A, it simplifies it. B, you can have people that get to start earlier. And then when, the going gets good, basically, you can take a rifle out. And there is, the amount of deer that die from the second weekend of October to the last day of deer season from guns is insane. And it's the same thing down here. You get a lot of people that, December rolls around and dude, it's they're done. I mean, the pressure in the woods is completely gone. Now you just got a few guys with guns, myself with a bow, because I'll go every day that I'm legally allowed to if I have the time,
Yeah,
and try to kill a doe, try to kill a buck, whatever. To
yeah,
me, that
yeah.
makes more sense because then you're not having all these confusing dates and you're just saying, hey, have at
Well,
it.
see, our truthfully, our it's not a confusing thing. It's just a long time. You know,
Yeah,
we
well,
we have a weekend in September where we've got the youth hunt,
yep.
and then we get and now they've combined the youth hunt, I do believe they said, and the early antlerless weekend. So you got a doe hunt and that youth hunt going on the same weekend in September. And
Mhm.
then October 1st, archery opens. That's obviously all that stuff.
Yeah.
Runs until rifle season opens on the 15th of November, runs to the 30th of November. Then you get that 3 day rifle season again. Used to be our muzzleloader season. And then the rest is just archery. So it's not that there's a whole lot of confusion. And then there is another gun hunt in October for vets, wounded vets, or disabled vets.
Yeah.
So they do that, and that's a rifle hunt in October. So
Yeah.
so
I don't
I
know.
mean, it's really not. It's just a lot of guns in the woods for a long time, scattered through the whole thing.
Yeah. And I mean, our season's pretty much like that too. I mean, you can
It is.
definitely
Well,
tell.
it honestly, it sounds like sadly Georgia mimicked all the wrong things that Michigan has done. You guys went, oh, look how bad they screwed that up. We're going to do that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll do it better, and then they don't. I mean, I will admit,
Well, you got
granted,
to
I'm
give you guys from the South credit, man. We do something bad up here, and you guys are like, well, here, hold my beer, boys.
right.
Watch this.
We're like, you
Watch
thought that
this.
was bad? Wait and
Whew.
see this. No, I
Past
mean,
the
I
nine.
I do feel like our season is. See, I always say our season's too long, but then I think about it. I'm like, dude, I typically get to hunt once a week, so that's however many weeks that is from September opener to January close. And it's like, it's really not a lot. I don't feel like I hunt a lot.
No.
And I only hunt with a bow. So if you ask me, make it archery season, which it really already is. It's archery season from opener to close. And it's,
And
I don't
they don't
notice.
ever make you guys stop, do they, with your bows?
Nope, not at all. As
Yeah, you
soon as
can.
archery season opens, you can hunt with that all the way to the end of January if you have a spot in extended archery.
Gotcha.
Um, so I mean, it's very long. I know there used to be some breaks and stuff like that. But it's a very liberal state
Yeah.
when it comes down to like what they allow us to do.
Yeah.
But again, you can tell. I mean, you can definitely tell the shift when rifles come out because these deer they were already cagey. Dude, it's 10 times worse.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're just waiting on the pre-rut and the rut to get a dumb buck in front of you because all your other strategies went out the window, you know? Um, man, we passed the hour mark. So that's
Uh,
fine. There's one
I
more
do
thing I want
know
to
that.
talk about
Yeah, let's talk about it.
because it's something you and I both are extremely passionate about. You sent me something earlier. I'm not going to go into it too much, but so you mentioned button bucks earlier being antlerless, quote unquote.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the hell?
Right. So in the state of Michigan, now here it even gets worse than that, than just button bucks being antlerless. Any deer less than 3 inches of antler sticking up on its head gets tagged as an antler, can get tagged as an antlerless deer.
That makes no sense.
Now tell me how that can help balance a herd by using those. And I can tell you that there a lot of guys doing that on a regular basis? Probably not, but are there some that are on purpose? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Um, in my mind, that those deer need protected. If
Yeah.
everybody's screaming to protect the young buck and pass a buck, let them go, let them grow. That's the very first one we should be letting go.
Yeah.
You know,
I completely agree.
and I just talked on this other sit down with these guys earlier. I sent some emails off to the commissioners today. Left a couple voicemails, and I think truly that these deer, these little bucks, any deer that has any antler through the skin, if you live out, if there's no APRs, fine. But if you're in an APR zone, that deer is not a legal deer because that's a buck.
I agree.
It's broken, and if you flip it over and it's got a bag under it, it's a buck. You made a mistake. You killed a buck. And if
Yeah.
you have APRs in your area, you killed an illegal buck.
See, that's why I hate, and Georgia does it too. That's why I hate the whole antlerless, antlered deer distinction. The way I
Correct.
see it, and again, this is just my opinion, which means absolutely nothing to the United States government, I'm sure. But I would say change it from buck tag, where it literally says buck tag, to doe tag. Now, people are going to make mistakes, right? And there should be
Correct.
stipulations for that. But the whole idea of a buck that is literally just growing his very first rack, it's his first full year of life. That if you shoot that and it's less than 3 inches, it counts as an antlerless deer. I'm sorry. Go skin that dude's head and show me where there's no antlers. There are
Right.
two pedicles. There is bone growing out of his head. Those are antlers. And I'll even take it a step further. Button bucks, I think, should not be getting shot on purpose. It happens on accident. I get that. But if you're going to tell me that a button buck is an antlerless deer, I totally disagree. Because again, skin that back. There's pedicles there. It's
Yeah.
growing under there. So how does that count?
Yeah.
It would
And
it
it's always been that way here. It's always been that way in the state of Michigan. And the rule for these, like the combo tag that we talked about with the either, hunter's choice on that tag, it's only got to be 3 inches tall to be legal. Now keep that in mind. That's a legal buck, 3 inch spikes, and it only has to have one that size
oh
to
my
be
God.
legal. So my whole statement to these commissioners in the emails was I feel like these button bucks and short spikes need protected.
Yeah.
And the first step protecting them is to raise that 3-inch antler minimum to 6 inches, double it. Because what that can do is protect these deer that can lay their ears and move their ears and hide those little bitty stubs of antlers that point in just the right direction. All they gotta do is lay their ears out and they're hidden completely.
Yeah. I
Well,
saw
that
one last year
deer,
like that.
and that deer almost 100% of the time will fool 90% of the hunters when he steps out thinking that's a yearling doe or a 2-year-old doe, and he takes it.
Yeah.
And they walk up and go, oh no,
Yep.
it's got little spikes like 2 inches long. It's because you didn't use your binoculars. You can clearly tell the difference in the shape of a buck's head from a doe's head,
Yep.
whether they're fawns or not. It's taught to us from a very young age to know your target. That's what
Yeah.
hunter safety is about. You know.
Well, and I mean, even think of it like this. If I don't know, like I've never been to Michigan, so I don't know. I'm sure it's very similar to Georgia, but I've had a situation exactly like this last year. This little tiny, tiny, tiny 1-inch spike came up the ridge behind me, and I watched him. And the only reason I knew it was a spike was because I could just barely see the white on top of his head. But also in the position that I'm in, these deer typically are 20 yards or closer, right? So I mean, maybe it's just our deer. Our deer move a lot. I get to see the entire deer before I ever get a shot on them. And
Yeah.
if you see a little bag back there, well, that's not a doe. That's a
Right.
buck. So even if he's got nothing poking out of his head, that is still a buck. And what
Still a
did
buck.
you do? You know what it sounds like to me, why they did this? I think they were trying to give the people their cake and eat it too. I think that they gave them the 1 buck tag to make them happy. They gave them the combo tag, and then they come out with this less than 3-inch
Well,
minimum
it's 3 inches or more
or three. Okay, 3 inches or more, right? But
on one antler.
on one antler, so they're giving you basically another buck tag without saying they're giving you a buck tag, is what
Right.
it is, and that honestly pisses me off.
That second tag on the combo tag being a doe tag, an antlerless tag.
Yeah,
That it's not a doe tag; it's an antlerless tag. Um, is going to can do exactly that. You can still, and I'm reading it ever since the meeting got let out last night. That
Mhm.
now watch this. I'm going to use my 10 doe tags. I'm going to go kill 10 button bucks.
Exactly.
Well, that's ignorance.
It's
That's
extremely
foolishness,
ignorant.
and you're killing your herd out of anger and out of spite.
Yeah.
Um, I'm all for taking what you want and fill your tag at your hunt, do what you want, but that's ridiculous ignorance right
Well, and
there.
there's a morality level to it too, you
You
know?
know, right?
Like,
These are the dumbest deer in the woods. They're babies.
yeah,
I
they're
mean,
legitimate babies and you're killing
yeah.
them.
Look here. This is one that I picked up as a winter kill. I mean, this was a button buck jaw, lower jaw. I
Yeah.
mean, look how little that thing is.
Yeah. It's tiny.
He's still got the milk teeth are still in it.
Yeah. You're
So
killing a fawn with a couple knots on his head. And it just I'm with
and the
you.
reason I think the verbiage and the wording in these proposals for this kind of protection for these deer needs to be any antler broke above skin. That's if it's broken the skin and it's above that skin on the pedestal, then it's an antler. So
Yeah.
what that will eliminate is these guys that whack one of these little spikes. They go up and they smack the antlers off. Well, you didn't solve anything there because that knob is busted through the skin sticking up this far. You're busted. That's an illegal deer. You didn't
Well,
save
and
yourself any trouble by breaking the antlers off. I watched it happen here.
does Michigan have a rule that so like you said you guys are checking your deer and I mean Georgia we check ours but it's all electronic.
Ours is
Um
electric.
okay. So they don't make you guys like take a picture of the genitals or anything like that. See, I think that would fully fix any of these problems. If you say antler list or no, just doe tag, just
It's
doe
got
tag.
to be a go tag. We can't. We have to try to change our mindset on this antlerless deer
Yeah,
thing.
because a buck is never antlerless. Even when they shed, I still would consider a buck to be quote unquote antlered because I've had a few on camera that I've seen drop their sheds and you can already tell there's some little growth there after like a day.
They
So
immediately scab over and regrow.
exactly.
So they're never truly completely antlerless
Yeah,
because they've always got the pedicle there. It's always there,
exactly.
and they've always got that bag hanging off the back.
Yeah, well, and that should be the stipulation, I think. I think that, and maybe I can't remember if George is like this because I don't really ever have to deal with it, but I would say leave proof of sex on the animal. That's the only way you can
I
legally
think there
check
are
it.
some places that have that
Yeah,
rule,
I know out west does. Out west definitely does, which I mean,
and and that kind of is the whole thing where I was at with the if you were gonna check deer for the earn a buck thing, how are they gonna prove that these aren't ghost does, that they
they're
just are
not.
checking deer that never got killed, right? The
Exactly.
only way they could do that is with an actual picture of the tag attached to the deer on the ear
Yep.
and submit it that way. Well, somebody then says to me, well, then what if they just decide to take that tag off, clip another tag on? They're going to pass that same doe head around to all their buddies, force them to cut a notch in the ear.
Or even better, full body, full body
They,
picture.
yeah, I guess, yeah, you could do that,
Yeah.
and then I guess, um,
I just the thing is, man, like
it just mind boggled at the amount of effort these guys will go to break the rules just because they don't like it.
yeah.
And it truly makes me go, wow, you guys are really no different than a regular everyday criminal.
Oh, there's tons of them, man. It's
I
unfortunate. I mean,
and it's guys that I guess I can't. I mean, and it feels like you can feel the same way about this whole button buck thing because I can't let it go, man. I can't not be angry about the thought that these guys are that foolish. I wouldn't want to be their neighbor. I can tell you that.
oh no. Well, and the thing is too, like think about it like this, like there maybe some guys are doing it out of spite, and other guys are literally finding ways to go around the system. And they're gonna do all of these things that listen, I've done stuff that I'm not proud of. Okay. I've made mistakes in the woods, right? I can tell you off air what it is, but it it's just stupid things. I was new to it. I was told one thing and made a mistake. That's all it is. And I'd never do it again. But the thing is, you got these guys that let's say I'll give you a hypothetical. Say one guy gets a buck tag and the combo tag, right? Kills two button bucks. All right. Puts them in, or let's go with the earn a buck system. That's a better way to do it. So say you got and correct me if I'm wrong, but the earn a buck system, like you said, is one buck tag combo or one buck tag, kill a doe. No, I'm sorry. God, I'm getting it all mixed up. Kill a doe, buck tag, kill another doe, new buck tag.
Yes.
Okay. Did it say kill a doe or did it say antlerless?
No, it's like kill an antlerless deer.
Okay. So this is what they would do. They'd go find two stupid button bucks, kill the first one, you get your buck tag. Let's say they go find a young 2-year-old that's got 3 on one side or he's a 6 point or whatever, and they kill that. Okay, they got their buck. Now you've already killed 2 bucks.
Yep.
So now you get your second antlerless and you go do the same thing. You shoot another button buck.
Yep.
The reason they're doing that is because they think, and I'm sure some guys will actually be able to pull this off, but they think that, oh, well, I've got this 150 on camera. Now I can go kill him and I can kill 4 bucks. And then they spend all year doing that and they never kill it. What did you do there? You killed 3 bucks. And how many does are still running around? Just as many as there were before.
Right.
That's the problem.
You solved nothing,
And you've made it worse.
and you've made it worse. Truly, I mean,
That's the
it just
problem.
there's a yeah. I just
Absolutely ridiculous.
it's going to get pretty
It's going to
heated.
get bad.
It's going to get ugly on my side. I'm going to get the ugly side of this, and it's okay. We can't fix things if we aren't willing to stand in the fire and fight for
Yeah.
it. I mean,
I
you know,
hope
so-
I hope Georgia tries this crap because I'll be the first one at the podium saying, "Hey, you're saying antlerless this, antlerless that. Let's change it to buck and doe, and you have to have a visual because it's all electronic. So what do? Put a thing on the app where you take a picture of the tag. Even do this. Take a picture of the tag next to the genitals of the deer.
yeah,
Leave the
yeah.
sex on there and take a picture of the tag next to it, punch and everything with the date, with your signature. Do
Well,
that.
before you open the cavity, so you can see the
Exactly.
udder. So you can see the udder. Every doe has an udder.
Exactly. You don't even have to dude, even better thing. Move the leg and take a picture of the stomach. You'll know whether it's a guy or a girl. Like
Right.
it's that simple. I've skinned or not skinned. I've gutted many a deer. That I know what I'm talking about here. So
I've
it's
only
like
found one that look, I've only found one that had both parts.
I have heard stories, never seen one
Yeah.
yet.
Yep. I killed one.
And I don't know what you do in that situation. Maybe that's why they have the antler. But the point is like generally that's not happening. So you want to fix the problem and you want to save these button bucks, you want to save these little spikes, do that. It's
Yeah.
it's a simple app change. You go in there and you put in if you kill a deer and you put this on the harvest record, you take a picture of the tag with proof of sex and that the
Yeah.
tag matches up with that, and then you submit it. And now you have your doe tag, you have your buck tag. Doesn't matter because
There's
it
and a lot of it's going to be verbiage too and language. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
it's
They
all
have to
legal
write,
crap.
yeah,
That's
they
all it
have to
is.
write these things with the right wording, or guys are going to find loopholes around them. I mean, we immediately figured out the loophole in the combo tag about just taking that tag to the UP to fill it. I mean,
Yeah.
it took 10 minutes for everyone to realize, hey, that doe tag just turned into a buck tag by crossing the bridge.
Yep.
You
It's
know,
ridiculous.
which means you could shoot a 6 point down here, and it sounds like you could take that one up there and shoot a 6 point up there too.
Yeah.
So what are you solving there? Not a whole lot, you know. But the button buck thing's got me tore up and sideways. I'm pretty
Well,
fired up about that.
let's just pray that there isn't a bunch of idiots out there that are going to do that.
There are.
I well, let's try to be
Michigan has
positive.
the look, man, Michigan has the brown it's down attitude.
Yeah.
Always has. It's probably never gonna change. You know, the younger guys are trying. I'll give them that. You know, I'm stuck in the younger guys, like basic, honestly, your age and a little younger, are mad at the boomers. You know, us guys that
Yeah.
are mid 50s are kind of stuck in the middle because we get both sides. I mean, we're watching both sides of this fight, and I understand it. These older guys don't want to give up their tradition, man. They
And
don't
I
want to
get
give
it.
up that November 15th deer camp where everybody sits around and does their thing. I get it. I do.
Yeah,
But
but you can still have that.
well, the reason that that was the whole argument behind you're killing tradition with taking away the second buck tag because now I can't deer hunt because I killed my buck in October. I mean, that was the
Oh,
main argument with it was can't hunt anymore. Well, then like I said, the immediate response is kill a doe, go hunt a doe.
yeah.
But nobody's going to drive 500 miles and set up a camp to shoot does.
Yeah. I mean, I get that, but at the same time, how many guys at camp are going to be completely tagged out before November 15th? Not every
Right.
single one of them. And this goes back, and we're gonna have to close it with this, but
Yeah.
this is the thing that I constantly say on this podcast is the community needs to care more about what not obviously, we all have goals, right? I want to kill a big deer, you want to kill a big deer, that's great. But I also want to see my buddies kill a big deer. I want to see you kill one. I want to see, people that I don't even know kill one. So the way I look at it is let's just say hypothetically, I come up to Michigan or I move to Michigan and I kill a buck that I'm happy with in October. Okay, fine. I'm tagged out. That does not mean that I'm still not going to go to deer camp and go support my buddies that are wanting to kill something. I'll kill a couple of does. They can kill their buck and we still have a good time. It's not all about us. It's not me, me, me. It should be all of us together in the community supporting each other, being happy that Jim Bob down the street killed a giant deer when I've already killed my giant deer. Or I've already killed my buck. I'm happy with what I've got and he goes and kills another one. I should be
Right.
happy for him. It's so
That's
annoying.
probably the best analogy that I've heard for the changing of
Yeah.
things and to get rid of the status quo. That's probably the best argument and best analogy to it is you're gonna go hang out with your buddies, still go to camp, still do the camp thing. Yeah, you don't have a buck tag, but you can kill a couple does because they probably need it.
Yeah.
While your buddies are buck hunting. And if they get a buck, great, then maybe they'll shoot another doe. Yeah, I get it. And that's the best analogy, honestly, an explanation I've heard. So kudos to you on that.
Well, I should have flown up there and said it.
That's the biggest argument that these younger guys had about the older generation is the selfishness. They feel
Yeah.
like they're being selfish and greedy, you know.
What I say earlier, man. It's
I
greed.
know, I know.
Greed.
It is everything about this whole industry is greed.
Yeah. And the way I see it is the old school mentality is going to phase out in the next 20 years. And so I'm not too terribly worried about it, but until that happens, it's going to be an uphill battle, you know? And I used to be the guy. I literally used to be the guy that, if I had a couple buddies come hunt with me one time and I told them, and I regret doing this. It's not like they killed the deer anyway, but I told them, hey, if you see this deer, don't shoot it because
Yeah,
I want to kill him. Now, dude, if I take anyone hunting with me, I'm like, dude, shoot whatever you want. Just,
right.
if anything, I'll tell them, hey, don't shoot the little ones because like we're trying to get some older deer over here. If you see a doe, smack her. If you see a
Yeah,
buck that you like, anything that's not a spike, have at it. You know what I'm saying? It's just
yep,
because you're never going to have people join the hunting community if you just push them off that way. If you say, these are
well,
my deer, never going to
right.
have them join. So
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah,
it's frustrating, dude. But anyway,
yeah,
um, James, on a high note, let's end this on a high note. Tell
yeah,
everybody where they can find you.
yeah.
Um, and I want to do another episode with you in July, maybe late July, possibly early August, where we can actually go over scrapes and not just talk about depressing stuff all the whole episode.
Right.
But yeah, tell everybody where they can find you and how they can support you.
Yeah, well, we're obviously all. I'm on all the socials. I got the YouTube. We're just started a YouTube thing again, and it's kind of it's pretty small, but it's starting to grow a little bit. I
Hey,
think
it's
we're at
something.
30 subs or something right now.
Hey,
Um,
it'll
and I'm
grow.
not putting a whole lot of effort into it right at this minute. But then we're on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the socials. You can get all the products at scrapedoctor.com. Right now, we're running a May special. You buy a 3-pack of Scrape Magic, you get a free Just a Rope.
Ooh, okay,
So we've lowered the price of our beads. So that's all on the website. They're $24.99 a jar now.
okay.
So
I need to try that stuff out. I forgot that you did the beads. I
yeah,
I
they're
I don't think I've ever actually used those before.
yeah. We'll when we get off this recording, I'll tell you some stuff about that.
Oh boy,
This is the stuff I was talking about that kind of got my mind
popped
blown
up.
a little bit here. So,
Hell
but
yeah, dude.
that'll also be that conversation will be something we can revisit when we talk again in July or August. So,
Yeah, we'll do another scrape deep dive. I just like I said in the intro and beginning of this podcast, this is something that it might be affecting y'all now, but it could affect other states in the future,
yeah,
especially Georgia. And as much as I like the $1 idea, I like the earn a buck system even more. And if they start throwing this antlerless crap around, it's gonna be the same thing.
yeah.
So I don't
Well,
know, man.
hopefully you can follow along here and we can get some things changed with the verbiage and the antlerless thing here. And maybe something we get done here can help you guys down there get that fixed.
Yeah, yeah, that wouldn't it be nice?
Yeah, would it though? And just so you know, if you check the news right now, New York is following Michigan right now, trying to go to a $1. They just dropped some stuff
Well,
today.
hopefully they do it. Hopefully they do it right. I mean, I do think a $1 system is the way to go if you want good quality bucks, but
Yeah,
there has to be an incentive to kill does because if you're just gonna have one dead buck and then a million different does, you're not fixing anything. You're making it
yeah.
worse, if anything. So
You have to give guys a reason to kill them,
yeah,
and
there's got to be an
and
incentive.
just yeah, and just killing ain't it. You know
No,
that's not enough incentive. So
man. So frustrating. Well, James, thank you for coming on, dude. It was a great episode. Went way longer than I thought, but honestly, I kind of expected it. Um,
yeah.
it's always a good time to get you on here. Hopefully things change. And man, look, Christ is King. Go read your Bible. Go shoot your bow.